The end of summer is just a few days away, and if you haven't taken a trip yet, don't you worry. We've got our travel expert right now. Barry Choi is here with pop culture and historical trends that have taken off. Good to see you, Barry.
Good to be back.
Okay, let's start with Normandy.
Yeah, I know Roger went here a few years ago. We were talking about it off camera, but, you know, obviously a huge significance for Canadian history. Juno Beach was one of our greatest war battles, but people realize once they get there, there's, you know, Michelin-starred restaurants, UNESCO heritage sites. So, yeah, it's great to explore a past, but you also want to explore the region and what they have to offer.
You got it. Up next, Berlin.
I love Berlin. People may not realize this, but the Berlin Wall fell 30 years ago. Is that not insane? I remember watching the news with Gord Martineau telling us that the wall was coming down. Like, I don't want to age ourselves here, but to me it's exciting. I was there a few years ago. I like how they basically moved on from the past. They don't forget about it. They like to talk about it and share the history, but it's all about the modern attractions that they've built. You know, the Museum Island is also a UNESCO heritage site, which I love personally.
Same. Chernobyl.
Chernobyl, obviously, with the TV show recently, has been huge, right? But people, you can't just walk into Chernobyl. When people are freaking out about the radiation, especially after a TV show. But what you may not realize is if you enter with the license guide through like a company like, say, Intrepid Travel, you're wearing long sleeves. As long as you don't sit, there's less radiation in the time you spend there than taking a transatlantic flight.
Okay, good to know.
Right.
Up next, in terms of pop culture influences, I don't remember a show that has more impact than Game of Thrones. So Croatia was a hot one, Dubrovnik specifically.
Was.
Now it's
Ireland. And what people don't realize is that Ireland, Northern Ireland specifically, has the most Westeros locations in the world, right? So we're talking about things like Winterfell, the Dothraki. I'm taking it, you saw the show, right?
Some episodes, it's too violent for me.
Is it really?
Yes.
But I love how you can basically explore on your own by car, or if you decide, you can just join a tour, studio tour. You can literally learn to shoot arrows. Where Jon Snow. There we go. Jon Snow. There we go.
That's cool. Now, I just said that show was too violent, and yet for some reason I'm obsessed with Killing Eve.
I would argue that's more violent.
Sandra Oh is amazing. I forget her name. The actress who plays
Villanelle. Let's just go Villanelle.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So obviously everyone knows, if you've seen Killing Eve, it takes place in London, even though it's very international. So the main location is the MI6 building in Vauxhall. But if you're watching the show, you can catch places like St. Paul's Cathedral, which is really nice, and then you've got the Tate Modern, which plays a nice backdrop. But people are also obviously interested in the international locations. Amsterdam. We also talked about Berlin.
Yep.
Vienna played, but funny enough, the Vienna scenes were actually shot somewhere else, which I found while doing some research. And that happens a lot.
They do such a good job. Just like, you know, we have so many cities. Toronto Masquerades is New York City. They do that all the time,
right?
So let's talk about the last one, 007, Daniel Craig's final installment.
How many James Bond movies has there been? Like 30 or something, right? So right now, the new movie is shooting, and it's actually taking place in Jamaica. And I love this because Ian Fleming, the author of all the James Bond, wrote most of his books in Jamaica, where he's got a home. So it's nice to like kind of throw it back when you think about it. At the same time, I like to joke. Think about Bond just enjoying retired life, you know, just going to Ocho Rios and sitting at a resort or something, which we can do, but maybe James Bond might get recognized by a few guys. But quick story about Bond is, you know, years ago I watched Skyfall and I saw the Shanghai scene. And I was like, I gotta go to Shanghai.
Right.
So I literally went with my mom and my dad the next year, and I get there, and it turns out the Shanghai scenes were actually shot on a set in London, and I had no idea. So sometimes you gotta maybe double check before you book those tickets.
They do such a good job, and that's why he's named Choi. Barry Choi.
Whoa.
He brings us all the latest. Was that a bit much, Bear?
Sure. No.
So you know what? You've inspired us. We have to do our homework and then go explore that which is not very frequently explored. You never know what you'll find.
So many destinations out there, right?
It'll leave you shaken and stirred. I'll stop now. Thanks, Bear.